This is TWiT.
So I just want to let the word go forth that Steve Wozniak is not patient zero.
Don't blame Steve.
No, Steve. You know what? Steve is a big-hearted bear of a guy who doesn't. I think he's not. He has no filter. He has
a playful nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he kind of got some attention tweeting yesterday, checking out Janet's bad cough. They came back from Asia January 4th. Came back from China. This is what got him in a little trouble. May have both been patient zero in the U.S. And, of course, all of Wozniak's tweets come from Swarm because maybe he forgot that he connected his Foursquare to his Twitter. I don't know. But they're always check-ins. So he's at the West Coast Sports Institute in Santa Clara. He was interviewed later and said, yeah, both Jan and I were really sick when we came back. He said, I could hardly move for a week. He had an engagement in Las Vegas, and he stayed home. But I think it's safe to say, Janet later was diagnosed with a sinus infection. I think it's safe to say that Steve Wozniak is not patient zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing is how did she go 2 months without getting checked? With a sinus infection.
I know, with a sinus infection, that must have been awful.
That was painful.
I've had that before. It's very painful.
That usually it takes me days.
Yeah.
To be like, I can't handle this anymore. Give me some drugs.
It's completely treatable, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
My best friend is actually a lot like the Woz, I would assume, in that he is constantly sending me messages of things that he wants to tweet, and I'm constantly saying,
no.
don't do that. Because, like, for
hey,
the
at
same
least
thing,
he
he's got
sends
that,
them to you.
that sense of humor. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got that sense of humor, and he's like, do you think people would think this was funny? And I think your friends will think this is funny, but people on the internet, not so much. Don't tweet it.
Don't tweet it.
I think I delete
outing me,
probably
Lori.
3/4 of my tweets.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was tweeting something this morning, and I thought I'd press the post button, but I didn't, so I had to press it twice. And I suddenly thought that would be such a great feature for every app in which you are going to post anything to anywhere, that it won't post until you click it the second time, and it won't tell you. It won't be a warning. It'll just say, "Oh gosh, there was a typo in that. Thank God I didn't post that."
Of course, USA Today, being the newspaper of record, followed it up, called Woz.
Took a great picture.
Took a great picture. He says both Woz and Janet had sore throats and coughs when they returned from Southeast Asia. He was scheduled to make a handful of appearances in Las Vegas right after the trip. Only made a couple. He couldn't speak because he lost his voice. We canceled everything else to head home. I couldn't move out of bed for 2 days. I did tell everyone I was sick and stayed away from almost all in Las Vegas. Woz said it was the worst flu of our lives. Janet was coughing up blood. That does not sound like a sinus infection.
No, that's not good.
Went to the hospital. They said it was no American flu. We've not been able to get tested. That's the problem right now. Had our return from Southeast Asia been today, we certainly have been tested and quarantined with the symptoms we had. It wasn't treated as important January 4th. This is the sad state of our country right now. He notified the Centers for Disease Control, but received a form letter advising him to wash his hands. Okay.
Well,
Also,
I mean,
Donald
that's,
Trump.
He's got to wash
that's a
his
good thing
hands.
to do.
Yeah, a little late. Might have said something like, and don't go out in public for 14 days. I don't know. This seems like there could have
And
been.
don't tweet.
And whatever you do, don't say you're patient zero. All right. I just had to bring that up. He's fine.
He's
I'm
fine.
sure.
It's-
Yeah. It was.
I do wonder where
joke.
I do wonder where the line is between being forthright about your travel to make sure that if you did pick up something that you can be quarantined or at least be observed, and not wanting to put your entire community in a panic just because you've been in an airport outside of the United States anytime in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Because we're starting to tip over into that thick border between being well advised, being well informed, being well prepared, and suddenly, like now restaurants in Chinatown are having trouble booking tables,
right.
which is just stupid.